morning, everyone. Welcome to another pre-market session. We're going to go ahead and talk about the events, the news, and the earnings that we had today and yesterday. We're going to talk about a couple of tickers, interesting names on watch for the day. All right, this is May 21st, and let's get started. So starting with the overall market, market finally bounced after 3 days of losses and red price action. Finally, we rebounded, bounced above the moving averages right at this like 730 demand zone. So yeah, even after strong semiconductor and mega cap strength yesterday, Nasdaq futures are relatively weaker, and you can see it on Qs as well compared to the S&P 500. NVDA had earning. Right, you saw the price action, beat earning per share and revenue expectation, guided Q2 revenue above consensus, and increased buyback by 80 billion, and they raised their dividend as well. So all of these things happen, but the price action technically is flat, right? So basically it just went slightly higher, lower. It's just like holding in between this 216 and 230, 215, 230 level. So it's in this range. Not an interesting price action so far. No clear direction. The price is basically stuck in this range. Okay, so that's about NVDA. The earning and everything was good. We don't have any confirmation on the price action for any sort of bullish or bearish scenario. Oil and treasury yield are moving higher, and there are some news on US and Iran conflict. The headlines are getting again important. Reports suggest two sides remain far apart on key uranium related issues, despite all of these potential possible breakthrough that they've been talking about. So oil, if you check out the WTI, you can see that oil is slightly pushing back up higher after all of these news as well. Okay, we had housing starts missed expectations, building permits beat expectations, initial jobless claim were slightly better than expected, and continuing claims moved slightly higher. Philly Fed was disappointing. The numbers was not really that good. So we had a bunch of economic events for the day as well. Also, Walmart had earning. If you check out the Walmart's price action, you can see Walmart is selling off. It reported inline earning per share, beat revenue, but the guidance for Q2 was below the expectation. And as a result, we're seeing a gap down on WMT, Walmart. All right, so that is, I guess, Trump's administration is reportedly planning $2 billion in grant to quantum companies and taking equity stakes. That's important. Yeah, the whole theme is basically strong earning of NVDA, but not enough push in the whole price action, and that obviously didn't move the market, didn't move the semiconductors, and didn't move the S&P or Nasdaq as well. So with that being said, let's get it started. Let's start with the S&P 500 first. What is happening right now? S&P 500 had this massive rally, and finally in the last 2-3 days it started pulling back down. It retested 732, 730 zone. Finally, yesterday, it bounced back up above this demand zone and rejected 740, 42.3 resistance level. This is the same level that we rejected multiple times in the last couple of days and had hard time breaking out when we were back in, like when it was back in May 11th, May 12th. Finally, we broke it, made all-time high, and then this pullback started. Now we are bouncing back up, but the price is technically in this range. The first demand zone for SPY would be around this 737. The resistance is obviously right at this 743.44, so that's a key zone on watch. The main demand zone would be again this 730, 32, 33 level that we basically held yesterday. Okay, this is the same zone we bounced. This is the same zone we bounced yesterday. This is the same zone we rejected back in again May 7th and finally held above it, retested, pushed back up higher. We pulled back. Now we're bouncing back up again. So the key levels, 738, 737 would be the main first demand zone. Then we have this 733. Obviously, if that level gets broken, then we can retest down till 727. And then there's a gap here on SPY. On the other hand, if we break out of this 742.3, we can go for a retest of all-time high again. Qs. Pretty much the same scenario, right? Pretty much the same scenario. We had this higher high, finally 3 days of pullback. After that, as you can see, we broke this kind of bull flag that happened. If you just check it out, this is technically a bull flag on both SPY and Qs. And this got broken, we pushed back up higher, and now we rejected this 714.15 level. The main resistance, obviously 715, and we have some demand around this 708 zone. This is a demand level that if the price holds, there might be a high chance of possible continuation. But if it doesn't, the next demand zone would obviously be again this 697, 698 zone that we held yesterday, right? And we bounced back up yesterday. With that being said, let's take a look at a couple of individual stocks. Apple. Apple is setting up pretty well. I like how Apple held above this 295. Apple, after earning, pushed back up higher. This was the all-time high at a time. It rejected, finally broke and held here very well, broke out, and then after like 4 or 5 days of consolidation, it's finally pushing back up higher again. So this might be an interesting setup for Apple for a possible break. The key zone obviously is 303 level. You better wait for this level to break, hold, because Apple has been rejecting this zone like multiple times, once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It has been rejecting this zone a lot recently. And if you want to just see which zone I'm talking about, this is the area that it has been rejecting in the last few days. Okay, it was basically trading in this structure for 4 or 5 days, and it was keep bouncing above this zone, rejecting the resistance, bouncing above the demand, rejecting the resistance, and it can keep doing this for a couple of days. So just because the price is close to this resistance zone, you don't want to go long and hope that the price will go and break this level. You better wait for the confirmation that the buyers are strong and controlling this level, above this level, and then consider trading it. That's pretty standard for any kind of supply and demand analysis. Tesla actually didn't hold this zone of 410, but it did hold the next demand zone of 395, and this is also an important demand zone. If you go back in time, this zone, the whole 385, 395, is a zone that held multiple times back in like historical price action as well, right around these areas. Well, it finally technically bounced back up after this insane pushback down, breaking 200 SMA and then reclaiming it back up. So pretty interesting price action, I mean, this is Tesla's typical price action in any kind of time frame. It breaks structures and then finally reclaim them, which is basically a price action that we see on smaller time frames, on 5-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame. We see this in higher time frames here on Tesla as well. But anyway, what happened was a reversal technically right around this 395, and then finally reclaim above this 415. What happened in the pre-market? We gapped up, we pushed back down, retested this 416, 17, 18 level, and now we're bouncing back up. This is a beautiful price action, amazing setup right now. Now obviously Tesla breaking this 425 till like 427.8. This would be an important area that if it breaks, this can run. On the other hand, if we push back down, which might happen, a pullback down till 400, maybe even like 16, 15, or even lower, wouldn't be really that crazy. It would be probably okay if we see some sort of pullback down till these areas and then continuation, because we had a relatively strong move on Tesla. Now, I'm not saying Tesla cannot rally. It definitely can, and it does. That's how it moves. After a massive pullback, it just like runs pretty crazy sometimes. So this might happen today, but we're not here to just hope. We're not here to just guess, predict. The whole goal is to wait for the price action. Now, if the price pulls back down and maybe retests down till these areas, right? That could also be a good breakout, a retest. This setup will be a setup that we might be watching for the next couple of days for a final breakout of this zone and continuation. So keep that in mind. NVDA already explained, nothing is happening right now. The 215 and 230 level would be two zones that I would be watching on NVDA, because it's technically like an inside day price action right now. It needs to get out of this zone. Google, pretty much nothing. It's just like holding at this demand zone right now, and it failed to break the all-time high again. So not really that interesting of a price action. AMD, I like how AMD broke out of this trend line, pushed back up higher, and now we are retesting and hitting this 430.32 zone, and it's kind of holding so far. So if AMD holds above 732, 730 level, this could be a good setup for a possible bounce and push back up higher. Now it depends on the whole semiconductor sector's price action as well, especially after NVIDIA's earning. Some volatility could be there for the first few minutes of the market open, so be careful about that. But overall, this overall price action on AMD looks pretty solid in my opinion. All right, so the only thing you want to pay attention to on AMD would be this 739 and 735 level on AMD, that if it just keeps working. Okay, give me a second. For some reason my mouse is not working. Okay, that's weird. So we will talk until this starts working. Don't know what happened. This is a weird problem in a live session. So so I like AMD overall right around this demand zone of 435 and resistance of 439. We'll see if that keeps holding or not. MU also is setting up pretty well, and if we can make this one work, we will be able to. It suddenly stopped working, so this is weird. All right. Anyone knows how to reset a mouse here? Technically I can't click on anything because this one is not working suddenly, like
Shahriar, try removing battery and putting it back. And
yeah, it doesn't have battery. The battery is just like oh, it's working. What? I should change it. Thank you. So I don't know what happened. Anyway, that was about AMD. All right, Meta, yeah, not interested. MU, very similar price action to AMD. If you see, we broke out and we are basically retesting this zone. So 711, 710 would be the demand zone on watch, and 750 would be the resistance that if it breaks, this could give us some sort of a basically breakout, a retest of this zone, and then final continuation setup. All right, Microsoft. Sorry, this is Amazon. Microsoft. Microsoft is trying to break this 433 level very hard, and it has been rejecting this zone multiple times. It started before the earnings, and now even after the earning, it's still struggling to break out of this 433 zone. The next level, as I mentioned the last couple of days, the next resistance zone would be this 442. That breaks, we have a gap to fill. Okay, let me get rid of this one. We have a gap to fill right here on Microsoft, right? So this is an interesting structure so far. We can see the change of structure. We were forming lower low, lower highs, lower low, and then finally we had higher high, a higher low, which is technically holding above the previous high, right? And now the price is struggling and consolidating the whole time. Now you don't want to get stuck in this consolidation because like God knows how long it can take for Microsoft to break out of this zone, but it will. Like this, Microsoft can can rally like crazy, and it has been just stuck in this range for so long when the whole market was rallying. So they are heavily invested in AI as well. So technically talking about, if I don't want to even focus on the fundamentals, the technicals still look overall good, but I want to see Microsoft get above this 433, 434 level and hold there. We should see some sort of hold, some sort of consolidation, some sort of demand being present there and pushing the price higher, and basically controlling this 433, 434 zone. If that happens and we push back up higher, then obviously this gap that can get filled is very, very interesting setup, and probably can give us a lot of opportunities, but it's not there yet. Okay, we're not there yet. We'll see if it breaks this 433 level and we see some sort of confirmation. Amazon, yeah, nothing interesting there as well. We'll wait if it can break this 267, yeah, around these areas. I will just set an alert there for myself. That would be the ideal setup on maybe Amazon if it can break the zone. Intel, very similar to AMD, very similar to Microsoft, sorry, MU. And what happened? We had this massive rally, a pullback, a retest of this 106, 105 level, breakout of this bull flag. This is this bull flag, right? Broke out of this bull flag, finally retest, broke out of this 115 level, retesting it, and it's getting ready to bounce. We'll see if it will happen or not, but this is also another interesting setup that can give us some interesting opportunities probably in the next couple of days and today. Walmart, it had earnings, so if you want to trade it, this name is right now weak in the in the pre-market because of the earning report. So I don't suggest trading post earning plays for the first 15 minutes. So wait for maybe 10-15 minutes, and then if you want, go ahead and trade Walmart. What you want to do is basically, I don't have the levels. You obviously need to keep the levels updated. But if you want to, there are two scenarios that are going to happen probably on basically three scenarios on Amazon. Sorry, on Walmart. First one would be a hold here and consolidation in this range, and basically having hard time breaking out of maybe this 127 or below this 123. And if it's stuck there, there is no point of trading it. Now, if the price started bouncing back up, we can go for a gap fill reversal setup and basically trade it all the way up till this 130 level. The other scenario, which is possible, but you really need some confirmation on the price action on volume, is the continuation of this sell-off, because it's already gapped down a lot. We'll see if it can continue going lower, but below the pre-market level, obviously we have below this 120 maybe 3 level, we have this 121 and then 118 almost. So we have two levels of demand zone right below this 123 that you're seeing, and the sellers should break through all of those demand layers. So keep that in mind, and if you want to trade Walmart, you can go ahead and trade it. Okay. All right, awesome guys. So with that being said, I will be going ahead and trade live with the team. If you want to join us, you can check out the description below and join us and trade live with us every single day. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, write it down in the comments below and I will answer your questions. Thank you. I'll see you in the next